Welcome to the first episode of the inaugural Dragons Den podcast. First up, we have live wire small forward Zoe Barbakos, who also happens to be the first Dragons player drafted to the AFLW this year. Zoe, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Dylan. Lovely to be here.
Awesome. And with me today is Nath. How are you, Nath?
I'm not too bad, Dill. Happy to be here. Happy to have a bit of a chat and start this new series off really well.
Perfect. So first off the bat, Zoe, can you tell us a little bit about you as a footballer?
Well, I started last year. I have an older brother who played footy, so growing up supporting Collingwood, I've always watched the footy, just never actually played it, never had the time to play it. In year 9, I played it at school, so we play it for a term every year, so I played 6-7 games a year in year 9, 10, and it was a bit interrupted year 11, 12. And then it just came an opportunity to play for Bolch last year. So I played in the VFLW with the girls in women's, and we played quite well. We made the prelims, but it was cut short. So I played 10 or so games there, and then got asked to trial for Southern Saints. And Southern Saints being affiliated with Dragons, they told me about the Dragons program and said it'd be in your best interest to have a go with the girls since you're still quite young and new to footy. So I went down a few Dragons trainings and started from there.
Yeah, awesome. So you played, obviously newish to football. What did you do sporting-wise before that?
I played tennis. Mainly that was my main sport, as well as netball. So I played netball club and rep for 6 years, from under 11s to under 15s. And then tennis I played ever since I was 5 years old. So I played club, state level, national level. Yeah, so tennis was my main sport.
Yeah, awesome. So obviously played that at a pretty high level. What did you learn from your time playing tennis that sort of translated and helped you when you picked up the footy?
Obviously the coordination stuff helps, so me being quite coordinated. Speed definitely, and agility, that helps, especially in the forward line, me being quite small. I'd say also just playing sport, the mental aspect, just dealing with setbacks such as injuries, and just getting if you get a no, just how to deal with that and stuff. So yeah.
Well, tell us about your introduction to the Dragons program. I guess you came in when the program was rolling at that point. You know, the girls had started in 2019. It was a good foundation set. Talk about your experience building you up as a footballer. You know, who inspired you during that time? Even teammates that you worked well with, you had a good relationship with, that helped you move to that next level.
I definitely, I'd say definitely my brother and my dad, definitely, and my mum, just all my family and friends were really supportive with obviously me playing tennis most of my life, and just like quite a abrupt switch to footy. Introduction to Dragons, I joined before Christmas. I had a few training sessions and then joined back when we started again in mid-Jan. I'd say the girls I clicked with, Georgia was really a big, I just feel like I connected well with her, even though she was playing on the opposite side of the ground, just in training as well. She was really, I think, encouraging and stuff. I just definitely looked up to her as a leader. I knew a few girls in Bridie and Lucy as well from netball, so I knew their faces, as well as Tash Morris. She was there for her first few training sessions, so I knew a few girls, which definitely helped.
Yeah, awesome. So outside of footy, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? What do you like doing? Obviously, tennis and netball you touched on before, but what's Zoe the person rather than the player?
Definitely just catching up with friends. I love going down to the beach and stuff. Just watching movies and just getting out of the house. I love to listen to music as well, and always catch up with the family.
Yeah, awesome. So is that sort of what you do to wind down as well? And outside of footy, is that what you do to sort of get in the zone, I guess?
Yeah, definitely, especially like, listening to music and just also studying keeps me quite busy. Um, yeah, mainly, yeah, just catching up with friends.
Yeah, awesome. What are you studying at the moment?
Biomedicine, so it's yeah, kept me occupied.
Yeah, that's definitely going to keep you pretty busy, I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, on yourself as a player, back to it's what we're talking about. Talk about your experience moving from tennis to footy in terms of preparation and how you manage yourself in two different sports where, one was quite individual and you move into a team based. Tell us about that switch. Did your preparation change? Did your level of professionalism change moving into two different codes?
Yeah, they're completely different sports, especially just fitness wise as well. Like tennis is more sprinting, so I definitely over the last few months I've built up my endurance, which I think I definitely struggled with at first playing footy. Team sports, obviously playing netball definitely helped, but on a larger field such as footy, you need to have the trust in your teammates. So that also working with each other, that was pretty that was a big difference in comparison to tennis. So I definitely took some time to adapt to that. But I've loved working with and working with the coaches and playing with the girls. It was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, cool. So from the Dragons, I guess you then got picked up by Vic Metro. How did that sort of come about, and how was that experience?
Yeah, that was actually a big surprise. I obviously, being new to footy, I wasn't like too sure. I knew there was a Metro squad. I didn't know like when it was. I didn't know much about it. It was really great to have a few girls in Sophie, Bridie, Keely, and Georgia as well, and also Kiwi. Definitely, that was probably yeah. I actually was really lucky to have her being the forward line coach at Dragons, and then her also being the forward line coach in Vic Metro. That definitely helped.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So what sort of influence has Kiwi had on you? As you said, you spent a lot of time with her. How has her coaching been for you?
Yeah, just teaching me about the game and the structures. She's definitely been a big influence into how I've played, and yeah, she definitely helped me. Yeah, just basic structures. Obviously, from Dragons to Metro, they have different ways of ball movement and playing footy. So just learning to adapt to the game and higher level as well. She kind of went over with me that Dragons is high level, but Metro is going to be very intense, and yeah, you got to always be up for the challenge and yeah, be prepared for anything. So she's been very influential.
Were you intimidated at all by it to start with? Obviously, as you mentioned, it's a step up. Was that intimidating or not at all?
Yeah, I think not. By the time it came to the game, I wasn't too bad. But training, yeah, the first training, it was because you like know, I knew of the girls, like obviously all the big names when you play against them. So yeah, the first training was really intimidating, I would say. Yeah, I was a bit nervous because it was all really fast paced and yeah, it was a lot. But it was good as well, good learning experience.
Yeah, and who did you gel with from that Vic Metro crew that weren't Dragons players?
I'd say Caitlin Sargent from the Western Jets. Yeah, just her playing forward as well. We definitely feel like we worked well together and just played off each other quite well.
I mean, when you look back at your Dragons and Vic Metro time this year, give me your favourite experience from each. What stood out, and even give me the biggest influence from both those teams that brought you up another level.
Favorite moment. I'd have to say Metro was obviously a big moment. I'd just say probably just debuting for both, especially playing against Oakley, as well, like arch rivals. I didn't know much about them, but yeah, I heard from the girls it was a big game. So yeah, I just think just running out with the girls, that was a good moment, especially getting the win as well. Biggest influence, was that the question? Was it?
Yeah. Biggest influence for me, though. I mean, someone that I guess you didn't expect to have such an impact. I mean, it doesn't have to be someone who you expected to help you with the biggest jump. Just someone that was there in the background, always kept you consistent with your effort, just someone that was making an impact in your game without you really noticing?
I'd say Ella, definitely. Ella, I don't know last name, yeah. Ella, she definitely sets the tone at training just with her voice and effort. On and off the field as well. She had a few injuries, but just how she battled on with them, and yeah, she's definitely a workhorse with her footy, very professional in how she goes about things. On a Metro perspective, I definitely Mia Bush was very just very inviting, and she always got around the girls, so she was definitely one to just set the mood at training, just really enjoyable. And I can see why she is really good at footy, because she loves she loves the sport and she really enjoys her time.
And what about coaching wise? We touched on Kiwi before. Who were some of the coaches that have really helped you out?
I'd say obviously all of the coaches had a big impact, especially Kiwi, like I said, but Shane as well. And Cripps as well, because Shane worked with us in the forward line at the start, but also Danny as well, him helping me out with him being a left footer. He helped me out with some goals, just like kicking for goals and stuff. Yeah, they've all been a massive part, as well as the Metro coaches in Jakar and LJ and Haley and Alana. Yeah, everyone was big help, as it's like a team sport. You all kind of try and like take a few things from all the coaches and try and implement them in your game. But, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, as you sort of said, your rise has been super quick. You've only been playing for 12, 18 months, and you've gone from local level stuff to the Dragons to Metro, and now to Hawthorn AFLW. How was that sort of process? How did that come about?
It came about actually after my first game. There was a Hawthom recruiter there in Mitch Cashin, and as well as Josh. They were watching, and then he messaged me asking for an interview. So after Oakley had an interview, and then over the course of the month, I just did a few tests, medical screening, ECG, and then had a few more chats and stuff. And by the time, it was actually the Friday before Metro, they said that I would be signing with Hawthorn, but he just wanted me to play with the Metro girls since it being my first game. So yeah, we had an quick chat, and he just wanted to take the pressure off me, not playing, not trying to be making me too nervous going out there, especially me being my first time. So yeah, it was good to obviously play at Mars Stadium for Vic Metro.
So after the Oakley game was the first sort of contact you had with the club, was it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that must have filled you with a fair bit of confidence, having played 2 games of NAB League at that point in time.
Yeah, it was definitely very flattering to be well, not essentially chosen, but I knew he does this. He would have done many interviews, so you can never be get too comfortable, because but it was definitely building my confidence going into the next few games for Dragons.
And so you were one of the first 3 Hawthorn players signed. How does that sort of feel to be one of the, I guess, first ever Hawthorn AFLW players?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's very it's gone really quick, so it hasn't really set in quite just yet, but it's obviously being signed with players such as Bridget Deed and Sophie Locke. They're very highly rated, and under the coaching of Beck Goddard for the AFL Women's and Sherry as well for the VFL Women's. So yeah, they're definitely still a lot to learn, but it's a great opportunity.
What were your initial feelings when you found out? I mean, like, that's quite an insane achievement for any player in any grade. You know, what to be one of the first is an insane achievement, but what were your initial feelings? Because that's something that not many players will be able to achieve, to be one of the first sign-ins. Who did you tell? where'd your mind go? What was your first thoughts after you found out?
I was definitely very shocked. I think my first thought was like, obviously being under the coaching influence of Beck Goddard. She's very highly rated, so can't wait to like start working with her. Definitely messaged mum, dad, brother, friends straight after on the way home. Yeah, it was all quite quick as well, especially with the AFL women's, the next season being moved forward. Yeah, it's gone quick. It's only over like 2 months as well. Everything happened quick.
Well, since then you've played VFLW for Hawthorn. I mean, tell us about that experience, because that's obviously a jump up from the NAB League as well. Was that, any different in terms of preparation, coaching? What have you experienced so far? New teammates, who stood out to you so far, and what's that process been like since you've joined the VFLW side?
Yeah, it's definitely picked up, especially with the bigger bodies in the VFL. They've got a gym program and stuff. Definitely higher intensity of training, just more training sessions. Them only being 5 girls in the forward line and back line, so more running as well, which is always good because more chance to get your hands on the footy. Players who have definitely, I'd say Dom Carbone, she's similar structure and build to me, a bit taller and a bit more stronger, but she plays half forward, so I definitely look up to her.
Yeah, perfect. So you mentioned your training, like it's been a step up. How often are you training? What does a training session look like? Can you talk a little bit about that?
We train Monday, Wednesday. They're our main sessions, so I'd usually do gym before that, and then you go out 30 minutes with skills and pre-craft, and then an hour and a half of training session, and then on Friday we do a captain's run. So half an hour again, training craft before, and then that's only an hour as well.
And as like an elite athlete, do you, like, away from your training and your game day, what does your preparation sort of look like? How much sleep do you get? What do you eat? How do you balance that with study as well? I know you mentioned you're doing biomedicine.
Yeah, Monday's really busy because I have a 5 hour or 5 hour, that's like 3.5, 4 hour day at uni doing a prac, especially, and then going to training. Yeah, that's quite busy. Eating, I just try and eat. I usually have pasta before game day, the night before, just so it fuels me up. I think also there's more running, so I need just recovery as well, really important, just stretching and getting down to the beach. Yeah, trying to get my body right for the next game, just because training in general is a higher load, it being longer and adding weights and doing more gym sessions. Just try not to overload my body and still build my strength in the VFL program, just because the bodies are bigger, and I definitely, playing 2 games, I did feel that just with the bumps and tackling, I felt the girls were stronger, and you feel it a bit more, being a bit more sore at the end of the game in comparison to a NAB League game. But in terms of eating, I just try and stay hydrated and just eat. Pasta's the main thing before the game. Dealing with studying, it's not too bad because we train in the evenings. It's not like we train halfway through the day, which is good for me, having uni during the day. I actually have Friday off for uni, so that helps, just having a free day before the weekend, especially if we're playing a game, just relaxing. And
yeah, awesome. And like women's footy is getting bigger and bigger by the year, and you're a pretty good example of going from your straight all the way through the pathway. How awesome is that to have a pathway for girls footy now to reach it to the top level?
Yeah, it's always good, especially having the new 4 expansion clubs, having 18 teams in the AFL just promotes it even more, having all the men's clubs having a women's club in conjunction with them. So it definitely just women's sport in general, just bringing more promotion to it, and especially in the 7th season of the AFLW, they've done extremely well, and it's only getting bigger and more opportunities for girls all over the country, as well as international girls coming and playing for teams. So yeah, it's good. It's definitely very is it very as I was gonna say, as like a woman in sport, it's definitely great to see, especially having Hawks on the VFL team. We have all female coaches, so just having them to look up against as past players and very high regarded coaches. Yeah, it's definitely great to see.
Yeah, cool. The last one sort of from me is, how have you, like if you were talking to a young girl now, what's something you would tell them?
I'd say definitely enjoy it. Definitely enjoy whatever sport you do. It's important to enjoy it, because that's what counts. And especially I've made a lot of friends, not only from footy, but also from tennis and netball and other sports that I played. I'd say that's the main thing, because when you lose that, it's not very, you won't flourish as a player. So I think if you enjoy it more, you want to go out there, do an extra training session, go for an extra run. So yeah.
Well, last thing from me to wrap it up. Tell me the next 6 months for you. Tell me what your life is like moving into that really big jump. What are you looking forward to the most? What are your goals and aspirations, I guess, for the future? Because this is a new step in your journey in AFL football. So talk us through that this next 6 months.
Yeah, so obviously VFL will finish up. Hopefully we can make finals. We're doing quite well. 7 wins and a loss, so we're coming 3rd currently. So finals in early June. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to play, and then pre-season will start late June, and then season will start late August. It would be great. Can't wait to run out with the girls. My debut for Hawks, especially with Bridget, just training with her and stuff, and Sophie as well. She's going to come down, train with the Hawks this week. So yeah, it'll be great to see her, especially in the forward line with me. Goals, aspirations, obviously goals, to kick a few goals, just to continue to flourish as a player and grow under the influence of Beck and the other coaches. Yeah, that would be the main thing.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Zoe. It's been a pleasure having you on, and it's been great to watch you through your footballing journey at the Dragons. Thanks to Dill as well for hosting this show today. We're looking forward to having quite a few more Dragons girls and boys join us on the show in the upcoming weeks and months. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Dill. And until then, we will catch you in the next episode.